Well. Welcome to episode 2 of Doggo Philosophy. This is my boy Kiwi right here. He is professor. Um, you're supposed to have done your readings, I guess, for today, but there's no readings to be done because not a lot of people talk about this as a philosophy in itself. I want to talk about the philosophy of beauty. Beauty is a very odd thing in today's society. It's interpreted in many different ways. A big thing a lot of people talk about is it's not what's on the outside, it's what on the inside that counts. And while there is a bit of wisdom in that, we do truly value beauty. And a lot of people try to denounce it, attempting to claim it as a vain sort of pursuit of something that doesn't matter. And it's a vain sort of bad thing to value the outside external beauty of perhaps attractiveness or an aesthetic body or something along those lines. Whenever I don't think that's the case whatsoever, and many great thinkers don't think that that's the case either. It goes back to the Greeks in Aristotle's Nicomachean Ethics. It's probably somewhere here. He discusses beauty and he claims that beauty is a virtue, and it's very interesting because usually you think of somebody being virtuous is doing virtuous things of their own volition. Perhaps love, kindness, magnanimity. Whoops, I can't speak right now because I went for a walk with this guy. But is beauty a virtue? Because as much as we would probably say it isn't, we certainly act like it is. Like, look at the halo effect. It has a whole name. We treat people kinder based on their looks. Whenever I was about 15 or 16, I was quite overweight and fat, and let's just say I wasn't very attractive compared to what I am now. And I can see the difference. It's so clear and obvious how differently you're treated if you're just more of an attractive person. And it's really sad. And it's something I really try not to do. I really attempt not to treat anybody who's overweight or unattractive or has clear facial deformities any different than I would treat a more attractive person. And I would say that I'm quite successful in that because having become quite attractive myself, I know what's going on inside the mind of an attractive person, and it isn't much more different than that of anybody else. They simply just get more attention because they are considered more virtuous. Now, sadly, I do not have the virtuous form of beauty, which people like Aristotle, Plato. Nietzsche does talk about it himself. And somebody surprising who you might not think would consider beauty as a virtue is Dostoevsky. I have his 5 major works there. I'm actually rereading Crime and Punishment right now. It's not a coincidence that a lot of Dostoevsky's characters are incredibly attractive. He does that for a purpose. Certain characters whom he particularly disagrees with, like Raskolnikov, is a very handsome man. And that discusses more the appeal to certain, I guess you could say, farcical deals that you could have. But also characters such as Alyosha or Mishkin are incredibly beautiful people, like out physically. Alyosha's blonde, he's got the long hair. Other half of the novel, he's got it short, but he's considered a very handsome man. Mishkin, in one of the first paragraphs of the book, I think, of The Idiot, it discusses how beautiful Prince Mishkin is. He's a very handsome man, very slim face, very well built, beautiful eyes. I think that's what it is. I haven't read The Prince in a while. Not The Prince, The Idiot. And what's the point of of beauty? It doesn't really make sense. It's such an uncontrollable thing, so why should we hold much value to it? Well, obviously there's a biological sense to it because beauty is incredibly attractive. And let's say if you were to deny or sort of forget about the incorporeal or sort of ephemeral state of humanity in existence, you might burn it down to a sort of biological reasoning as to why we value beauty. It's beauty has biological benefits. Looks maxers, this is very prevalent nowadays. They talk about it all the time, like the warrior skulls. I have a particularly large face. If you see me in a photo with somebody else, like my skull is bigger. And as a fighter, that also helps me. It's harder to get knocked out. That's exactly what it is. It's harder to get knocked out and you're physically stronger if you just have a stronger face, like a strong jawline, something like that. it shows strength. And for women, something more attractive might be rosy cheeks, which is a sign of youthfulness. That's considered virtuous. So that's a sign of fertility, because youthfulness resonates with fertility. And so that's why we consider it virtuous in a biological sense. But let's go a bit more into the incorporeal nature of the philosophy of beauty. I have a very bad habit of trying to make everything in existence poetic. I really want to make an understanding of everything. And I do believe that the universe in itself is incredibly poetic, and it dots its I's and it crosses its T's very well. It's a very well-made existence. That's why I find it very hard to deny the existence of something higher. And perhaps beauty is incorporated with that. And it's meant to symbolize something. Now, I don't believe that beautiful people are inherently virtuous, but I do believe that beauty is an incredibly odd trait. But it probably is virtuous. That's my belief about it. It's very hard to discuss. Perhaps attractiveness and beauty are very different things. You can see an attractive man walking down the road and you can say, wow, he's a very attractive person. But perhaps he's not beautiful. Beauty is this angelic glow. Just in terms of physical demeanor, you can have a very beautiful person who is in no means physically attractive. I would say you can tell by their, I presume their Atman, if you're a Hindu hippie. Bro, calm down, please. I'm trying to get subscribers. Now, this is just an interesting part. If anybody else wants some advice on how to glow up, this is just a bit of a different thing. You should definitely find a sport that you really like. This is coming from a guy. So I was, whenever I was 15 or 16, I was about 5'2". And I got very lucky. I grew to about 6'3", 6'4". So I'm a very tall boy. But what did help me a lot, as a lot of overweight people will probably say, you try so many times to lose weight and it fails miserably. You have like this whole workout program, you train hard for like 2 or 3 days, and then you lose it. You just don't work out anymore. You're completely lazy again. You go back to your old eating habits. You go you go on a diet for like a day or two and then it's gone. If you can find a sport that you really like or a form of exercise that you really like that you can do, it's far easier. I know a lot of people value discipline nowadays, but if you can make things as easy as possible, you should definitely do that. So I started basketball whenever I was younger, and I started fighting. So I did kickboxing for about 3 months, and then I did Muay Thai for 2 years. Planning on getting back into that, by the way. That really, really helped me. I didn't eat as much because instead of eating, I was, training. And those are very high cardio sports. So I was losing a lot of weight and my face was able to thin out. So you can kind of see the hollow cheekbones. You can see the jawline. I got much skinnier. And I did do cardio, like at home. I did HIIT cardio. But I would definitely recommend anybody who wants to lose weight and particularly get more attractive, like in the face, you should do a high cardio sport that you really like. For men, I would really recommend fighting. That's just something you must do. For women, just do whatever you like. A lot of women like badminton for some reason. Running, I don't know if you're a sociopath, go run, or a masochist. I like basketball, that was very fun. Get a dog maybe. This guy gets me on walks all the time. I ran like 5K with this guy today, and he is not tired whatsoever. He is just nibbling me. He is not behaving. He is not training very well because my girlfriend fed him before, so he has no food motivation. And he's just nefarious boy Kiwi. But anyways, I think for the next video, what should my next video be? I'm going to assign you guys some homework. The next video, I will talk about. What do I even want to talk about, bro? I don't know. What am I reading right now? I guess I will talk about the values of morality. Yeah, sure. Do some research on Nietzsche. This guy gave me a whole ass existential crisis. But yeah, I really hope whoever here is suffering with any insecurities about beauty or the way that you look, I understand. I completely understand that suffering. Don't fall into the trap that looks don't matter. They definitely do. You should definitely become attractive. And when you become attractive, you can become beautiful. But then you'll realize nothing matters. That goes back to my episode 1 discourse about existentialism. Nothing matters. Whatever you chase, you will not be fulfilled. Ever. Just distract yourself. Okay, say bye, Kiwi.